with some wonderful people in our area who are inspiring, who are doing great things in the community, and they're also uplifting us in their own special way. And I think you know the lady that you see on the screen right now. This is my good, dear friend, Amy Taylor. I have admired you for so many years and always enjoyed you. Thank you for being with us today.
That is so kind because I'm your biggest fan in return. And the first thing, you were the person who I thought, if this woman works for this company, this was, 20 years ago when I interviewed at Channel 4, I thought, I love her so much. I would love to work for a company like that. So you were the sales
Well,
person for
you're
me.
you're kind. I can't believe it's been 20 some years. I've been here 30 years, but we're still hanging in there, Amy.
We're still hanging
As
in.
best we can.
It gets
That's what
harder, doesn't it? It's harder to hang in.
it's, well, you know what? The hardest part is, I think, the changes in your body. I'm just you hurt.
Oh,
I'm
well,
not tired. I just hurt.
better living through cortisone. That's what I say.
Well, that's working out, and that's something that I've done all the time. But I find that I had to back off a little bit. And speaking of working out, I know you're doing something right now that is so wonderful to help kids with cancer. And this is a challenge that is really dynamic. And I'm excited to have you talk about this. Tell me what you're doing, Amy.
Well, thank you, Carol. I actually saw this on Facebook. It is the 200-mile cycle challenge for St. Jude's Children's Cancer Research Hospital. And I could just get really emotional talking about it because no child should have cancer. No family should go through cancer. It is something that has impacted our lives. My family, we lost my nephew Matthew to childhood cancer. He died when he was 40, but he'd suffered the consequences of childhood cancer. But he had a bone marrow transplant as a young person. And then I also have two friends who had children with cancer and lived through pretty closely one of my girls' classmates deal with it, with a bone cancer. And then another older classmate at our school passed away. And so seeing this happen to families and knowing the cost and the toll that it takes on people, I just really want to be involved in this cycle challenge. So you got to ride 200 miles and people see you on Facebook and they donate. How simple is that? And the thing that you need to know about St. Jude's is that no family pays any bills. And yeah, it's just incredible, isn't it? So they do accept insurance coverage, but they will house you there, they will counsel you there, and they are a research hospital, so they do take the hardest cases. And I just think that what could be a more amazing thing to do? And it's so easy because people are scrolling and they go, oh, I could give $10 to that. And I'm like, I can do 200 miles for that, so that's what I'm doing.
Well, you've already raised a lot of money. And how many miles do you have so far? Have you logged?
I have like 176. And when you said I needed to back off on working out, I was like, I need to take a day off because my butt hurts.
You know what? Well, I ended up getting tendonitis because I was working every single day, and it's not good. You have to give your body a rest. And I
have to have a rest. So I'm taking a rest, and I have about like $3,300 so far, and I'm really hoping I can get to 4,000 by the end of January, but we'll see.
Oh, well, you know what? You're doing such a wonderful job, and it's a great.
Oh, thank you, Carol.
And I'm just, and Amy, one of the things that I love about you is not only are you smart and beautiful, but you also are real. You're not, and we both have always liked real people.
So. We know all the fakers, don't we? We know the fakers in the world. They're there, and we see you. Carol and I see you. And we know you're full of it. Yeah. No, but it does make you appreciate the real, genuine people and the people that support you over the years. And you've always been that person, and I appreciate that so much. It means so much to me. And again, I mean, can I suck up anymore to Carole Meekins? But I just think the world of you. You're the real deal.
Well, you're kind, but I was reading up on you, Amy, and I did not realize that you had gone to a year of law school. You're on soap operas, you've been on radio, TV. I mean, you've done so much in your life.
Well, thank you.
I mean, what a wonderful experience, and I think that's the way to live. To have a lot of things to do, and I know you do radio. You sit in on the Morning Blend. What has been your favorite thing of everything you've done? And you're a morning anchor, a successful morning anchor here.
Oh, well, thank you, Carol. Thank you.
What was your favorite of all of the jobs that you've done, Amy?
Of all my jobs, I would definitely say that my favorite was doing mornings with Bob Reitman and Gene Miller on WKTI. So I would do the news and then I'd go down the hall. I do the news on Channel 4 on
I remember that.
WTMJ, right? And then I'd walk down the hall and hop on with those guys. And it was just sort of like, okay, strap yourself in. You're getting on the roller coaster. And you know, some days you're going around the corner and you're wobbling. You don't know what's happening next. And then, woo, you know, it
But
was just
your energy
a
gets up.
blast.
Yeah, and but you know, you're really good, and you ad lib well. And I remember the commercials, Reitman and Miller and Amy Taylor too. And I thought
Yeah.
it was so cute. They put that up in the little cursive thing. And you know,
Oh,
one of the
thank
things
you.
that now, Amy, you're a mother of triplets. And for those of you who are just joining us, this is Amy Taylor, former
Oh,
TMJ4 anchor and co-worker, but she's done just about everything in the market. And if you do
thank
have a
you.
question, feel free to give us a message because we'll be happy to answer. Amy, I'm sure will answer any question. But you're a
Happy
mother
to.
of beautiful triplets,
Oh,
beautiful
thank
young
you.
ladies who are now, I can't believe the age. I remember when you were trying to get pregnant, but you went through a lot.
Oh, I went through a
Of
lot, and I was actually I look back at that time and I remember I was so afraid to tell our boss Jeff Kiernan, and I didn't want to talk about it. And now I no women are so open, they tell everything everywhere, you know. And I had infertility. We still don't know why Jason and I couldn't get pregnant, and so we went through that. And I remember saying to Jeff, it's like, okay, I have a week of vacation I'm going to take. I need a week off unpaid. This is my last chance. If it doesn't work, we're going to adopt. And I remember being so afraid to tell him that. And he was like, oh, take the time off, then no problem, you know? And so look at the miracle that we had. And we had these three girls, Tess, Jillian, and Chloe, who are now 18 years old. They're graduating from high school. And I just can't believe it because I remember when you and Mike put them on television when they were born, and they didn't even look like they were ready to be born. They weren't. I mean, they were premature. And I was like, those
um,
children looked so, I mean, they look so fragile, but God, what a miracle. And they're so strong now and they're healthy. And I'm so blessed. So.
yeah, you are blessed. I was just getting ready to say they're blessings, and not only that, they look just like you.
Oh, you think so?
I see a lot of you, and well, I also see Jason, but they're
Yeah.
beautiful girls, and you can
Thank
just
you.
tell. I know having you as a mother, they're smart and they have good self esteem. What any advice you would give to any moms out there who have kids going through the tender teenage years
Well,
who are
I
just
mean, I do feel that there, I always say to my brother who's raising a teenage girl now, they're coming for her self-esteem. They're coming for it,
yeah,
and you protect it with all you have. And so I don't believe you should blow smoke toward, you know, the area. But you really do have to teach your kids to be resilient and to be tough and to weather the slings and arrows. And that's part of the resiliency. And then just also tell them you love them unconditionally. Unconditional love. I mean, because, you know, you and I know we've seen enough weird things in our lives and how volatile our world is right now that you need to tell them you love them every day because they have a hard go at it with social media. And so I just tell them, you know, are you going to believe me or them? You know, I say you're great. So
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And the sad part is there's a lot of kids that don't have that. They don't have that support system.
I agree.
And you and I signed up for this being in the media and all that. So we expected it. And we expect, the shots or whatever. But you know what? It breaks my heart, Amy, when I see the young kids having to deal with this, on social media. It's not right. And
It is not
you
right.
didn't have to deal with this.
No, you didn't have to deal with it. And now, you know, when they come home, they're never not connected.
I
And
agree.
so, you know, I mean, I have 18-year-olds. I felt they'll be really upset if I say this, but I took their computers away last night and they were like, why are you treating us like we're four? And I said, well, because you can't obviously control it. This is a drug. It's
Mm.
being presented to you by our culture, and I'm going to help you. So it's going away so you can go to bed, you know? So
But you know what I
it's
think the
hard.
smart thing to do, it's very difficult, but a good parent also is a good disciplinarian and tackles those hard moments because it's better for them. And plus your creativity sometimes is stifled when you
It's
depend on
so true.
the
I
media.
said to my husband, I go, "Well, she's gonna have to sit in there with herself. No sister, no computer, no phone." And that's what you and I did, right? We had to think of ways to come up with stuff to do,
I
you
read,
know?
well, I lived in Turkey. There were no TVs or telephones.
Can
So
you imagine?
I mean, you know what I did?
You
I would
can't.
go read encyclopedias that my parents had, and I
You
think,
know what? You seem like a person who could do that,
I
Carol.
mean,
You
well,
are that smart.
I always liked to read, and so I didn't have
Yes.
anything to do, so I would just read encyclopedias. And I think back, I think, how lame was I?
What a good time, Carol. Anything else you got
I would
going
go
on?
read
No.
encyclopedias. But Amy,
No.
and I look back and I think about being at your wedding and your mom and dad and your family.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have your dad was a former anchor. A lot of people may not know that. He was a longtime anchor in Chicago.
Yes, he was. My dad was on WGN for, I don't know, 25 years. He's been on the air in Chicago for 50 years. He's in the Museum of Broadcasting. His name is Jack Taylor. He's still alive. He's 93. He lives in the Mequon area, and he's doing really well. This year he broke his hip, and everybody with an older parent knows how hard that can be. That can be a really hard recovery. So he's doing well, but he's just, I mean, talk about strong and resilient. It was like, I remember saying to him, I can't work in this news business anymore. They don't let me sleep at all, ever. I'm getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he said, you can do anything for 3 years, because it was a 3-year contract. This was when I was in Iowa and I was having a hard time. And he's like, you can do anything for 3 years. Well, that's somebody who's been through the Depression, who's been through the Second World War,
Exactly.
so that these people know how to suffer. And that's the thing, is like, when you talk about advice to kids, I mean, I feel like we need to tell them, hey, it's life is some suffering, and you don't feel the good without going through the bad. It's not all just good, and all that stuff you see on Instagram, that's BS.
It is. It truly is. And
Yeah.
I truly believe in that existential thought that you can't know great joy until you've dealt with great
Mhm.
pain, deep pain. And I think that's very important. And kids have to understand it's not going to be all rainbows and roses. It just,
No, it is
you're going to
not.
have hard times, and we have to make them resilient, because there are some people who cave. You're so good with, and I think I'm sure that you're excellent with understanding and assessing the human condition. That I
Oh,
think
that's
is
so
something
kind.
that we're in, Amy, and it's a situation that a lot of people are not giving themselves time to reflect on what we can do to better our world. I mean, I know you've got that in your soul, which is why you're doing this biking to help kids, and a lot
To
of
help kids.
do that. And I
Hmm.
love that. Where do you
Thank you,
get that
Carol.
from? Where do you get that?
Uh, that is definitely how I was raised, 100%. And if I look at my brother, he's this. I got to brag for a minute.
Oh, he's
He's
wonderful
this.
too.
He's a CEO of the Innocence Project in New York
Mm.
City, and they help people who have been wrongly convicted of murder, and they get them off death row, and using DNA evidence. And that's what he does as a side job. My sister is a nurse practitioner. She is outstanding. She's helped NICU babies. It's just, and I wouldn't say that my parents were always saying service, service, service. They weren't saying that, but they were doing it, and they were leading with their hearts and their compassion. And so it's like, as I have 3 kids that are about to graduate high school, I say to them, not how you serve yourself, but how you serve others is what makes you feel good. It's connecting with other people and doing right for them. If whether you make them laugh or you give them a half an hour to put their feet up and get informed, whatever, however you're relating to somebody, people believe that. And I think that's why you've been so successful, Carol, is that people know that you care, and that you're doing it for the right reasons, and that you're sincere, and that you're knowledgeable, and I think those people that are, there's so many people vying for our attention, but I still think the people that really care and are in it for the right reasons continue to resonate with people.
Well,
Look at Betty White.
oh, I know. She's still in our hearts. It's amazing.
She's
I
still
don't,
in our hearts.
I look at you, Amy, and honestly, okay, you've lost a lot of weight. We have to
Thank you,
discuss
girlfriend.
this,
Are we going to talk about the
because
weight?
it is hard.
I need to have some water.
Okay, and you've done such a phenomenal job losing weight and getting in shape. And it's something that we continually battle as women. First of all, how did you do it? And how do you keep your young girls with the right attitude toward their body image? Because it's a tough one these days.
Oh, that is so hard. And I have to catch myself all the time, because I came up in an era when I went to college and I saw the first girl I met the first person I ever knew in my life that was bulimic, and I was like, "What is that?" I didn't even know what it was, and these college girls were telling me about this. So I had this fear and always being told, "Lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight," and then of course having triplets and gaining 90 pounds,
That's
you
tough.
know, was tough. But I constantly am very careful about watching my words. I don't always do it right. I don't. I mean, it's so difficult. And the fact of the matter is that people are judged, but I really try to come at it from health. You know, this is your health, this is your life. And I realized that, you know, after having my kids at 18 years of baby weight was probably you can't keep saying it's the baby
Use it as long as you can. Ride that wave.
right? So I was like, okay, I need to, I need to get a hold of this. So I really looked at my nutrition, and I have a friend who is a coach, and I contacted her. Her name's Jane, and we sat down with a food plan and a workout plan. And I am really dedicated to working out, like you are.
Well, as you
But
get older, you have to be. You really
yeah, you have to be. And it's like, I feel like it rinses your brain,
do.
all those endorphins, I'm living for those, because we can't, I mean, in this pandemic, the drinking has become an issue for so many people,
Yeah.
and myself included. I had to say, oh, I need to check that. We're not just out on a, Christmas
Yeah, no.
vacation
You know,
anymore.
that
This
one
is,
glass of wine or two and
yeah,
calories, and I'm guilty of it as well. I just
yeah,
recently just said, okay, you're done.
right.
Because
I
it's
think that is the best. You're done because this is not working for you.
yeah, well, and I'll give myself maybe a day a week or so, but I said, okay, that's enough because
Right, that's
easy to
enough.
do,
Right.
whether we
And
like.
I do think that I think there's something to be said for that all or nothing, like, I mean, not to be feel like you don't want to feel deprived, but to say I just can't do that because it doesn't serve me. It doesn't make me healthy,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I've done it. And I did it the old fashioned way, moving
That's the
my
best way.
rear and being really careful about vegetables, 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 It's boring, but
It's
it's
no, but
true.
it's good for you, and that's the best way. I know
Yeah.
people can only go with the surgery and that kind of stuff, but I don't want to do. I won't do any kind of
I won't do that
no
either.
surgery for looks for me. None.
No, I'm
Not
too
even.
afraid. And the thing is, I don't want to say to my kids, yeah, or have them say about me, she died on the table trying to
Oh
look skinnier.
no, you're
I
right.
mean, you
Yeah.
can't keep preaching that you believe in health and well-being, and then being, doing all these things that are, it's a risk. Having said that, everybody make their own choice.
Yeah,
Really
that's true. Yeah,
blessings to
no
anybody who wants.
judgments from us, but
No, not at all.
God,
No.
God help us. But you know what?
Right.
I have to say, we have the same birthday. Which is so funny.
That's right. That's right. We have the same
I
birthday.
flipped it up and I was looking at you. I said, "Oh, I remember." I had
I remember too. 29 again.
yeah,
We are.
September
Isn't that
29th. Both
amazing?
Libras. So we're signs of balance and goodness and love and beauty. And so that's what I like to think. But I've always been attracted to Libras in my entire life.
Me too. I
And
have
my
so
friends.
many. Yes, me
It's
too. I have so many friends that are Libras. And I do think there's a certain quality of fairness in Libras that
yes.
it's like
Also,
you're always trying to, just be just
yes.
and not to be
We're
too
not
judgmental.
extremists. That's for
No,
sure.
we are not extremists.
Not in any way. I can talk to you all day, but I'm sure that our digital producer wants me to wrap it up. Oh, I'm
What?
so happy to talk to you.
I'm
And
so
so
happy
happy
to
to
talk
see
to you
you.
too.
I love your hair.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I love your hair.
Well, it's not mine, but it's but when you saw me before, I used to have my own hair. It was too hard. So,
Oh my God. I feel like that is the best idea ever. Let's just go for
so
that.
many people are. It's just easier with this business. But
Oh,
I love catching up with you, Amy.
I love
And,
catching up with you
uh,
too.
my regards to your dad. I didn't realize he was in the Mequon area. I'm so happy to
Thank
hear
you.
that. That's
Thank you
wonderful
so
thing
much. Yes, thank
that
you
he's
so much.
close by. And kiss Jason and the kids for me.
Kiss Mark.
Love you. And
Love
thank
you
you.
too.
I love seeing you. I
Oh,
appreciate you all joining us. The beautiful Amy Taylor for being our guest for Lunch with Carole. And next week, join me because we'll have another fabulous, motivating, inspiring, and beautiful guest. Have a
love
wonderful.
you, Carole.
I
Love
love you
you.
too.
Bye. Bye.